Cape Cod Broadcasting weaves the listening environments of 99.9 WQRC, Ocean 104.7, WFCC Classical 107.5, Cape Country 104, and CapeCon.com's website experience to reflect the lifestyles of the people who live, work, and play on Cape Cod. We hope that you enjoy this podcast.
Good morning. I'm Rob Woodard. This is Sunday Journal. Today I'm joined by Ann Van Vleck. She is the Executive Director of the Cape Cod Young Professionals. That's an organization working to find ways to alleviate challenges that cause some of the Cape's younger residents to leave the area. Good morning, Ann. Thanks for joining me here today.
Good morning, Rob. Thanks for having me.
You bet. So let's start with an overview of the Cape Cod Young Professionals. What specifically is the mission of that organization?
Absolutely. Well, I do want to start, Rob, with mentioning that we just rebranded about a year and a half ago from Cape Cod Young Professionals to CCYP. So it is, the organization is really about retaining and recruiting young professionals. How can we keep that demographic to stay here, support them, and their efforts around staying here and thriving on Cape Cod?
And so when you say young professionals, who specifically are you talking about? Is that somebody, with a college education necessarily, or is it just kind of just young people in general who are working here on Cape?
It's definitely more general, Rob. It's people who are, trying to make it work here on the Cape. So it's not necessarily someone who's college educated. It's someone who could be currently taking classes right now at Four Seas or at Bridgewater, on or off Cape. People who are trying to stay here and work on the Cape that are in the younger demographic. We don't really define young, which is why we rebranded for those who didn't self-identify with the young or the professional. We really wanted it to be about supporting anyone who is trying to live and work and stay and raise families and be here on the Cape. And
does that apply mostly to people who were born and raised here, or do you have a combination of people that have moved here over the years, maybe as they moved here as a young person to work in the summertime, and then they decided that they would like to stay and they've pursued a career or some education and would like to stay, but they find that there are challenges here that won't allow them to do that?
Sure. It's definitely a mix. We definitely have locals. We have wash-ashores. So it's definitely a mix, Rob. It's combination of wash-ashores, people who were born and raised. We have the full gamut, people who summered here, people who were born and raised and said, okay, you can't build a plane to get me off the Cape fast enough,
right.
Who wanted nothing to do with living here, who went out into the world, had jobs, went to college, and definitely found themselves yearning to come back to the Cape. That's one thing that I think a lot of people have in common is there's those heartstrings that are being pulled. There's that connection. There's something very special about the Cape that we all who live and work here understand that has brought a lot of people back to Cape Cod.
Absolutely. I'm a relatively new person to the Cape, and I have fallen in love with the place. I really love being here. What are some of the most pressing issues that you are hearing from the people with whom your organization works? Is there a kind of a common denominator? Is it the expense of housing? Is it the traffic, the road traffic in the season? What are some of the common problems that you hear about?
So we launched the Shape the Cape effort in order to figure out what some of those challenges were, what were the issues, what were the challenges being faced by this demographic, because we were looking at the daunting statistics of those in the 25 to 44 range that were leaving Cape Cod. So from that study, which we commissioned the Dukakis Center of Northeastern University to do that study, we now have first-person baseline data around what those challenges are. It was nothing surprising. You just hit on a few of them. It's definitely the housing. It's the affordability, accessibility. How can we get some of the young professionals who are carrying such heavy student loans and are in major debt, how can we get them out of the rental cycle? We also saw people are housing cost burdened around that same topic. Also, the living wages. There was a huge percentage of young professionals who were surveyed that said they did not feel that they were making living wages. So about 50% of those people surveyed are working 2 and 3 jobs. We also found that there was a lack of professional support and development here on the Cape for those young professionals. They felt like they were in the careers of their choice, but they didn't see the room for growth in those jobs, or they didn't feel the mentoring was available for them to provide the support needed to grow in their jobs.
And so tell me about CCYP. When did the organization begin, and what are you seeing with regard to membership? Obviously, you didn't start with as many people as you have now, I would assume.
Right.
So tell me about the development of the organization.
Sure. So we just, this November, celebrated our 9th anniversary. We had a big celebration at Chatham Bars Inn. It was a sold-out event, and it was really exciting. It's an opportunity for us to stop and pause and celebrate the growth of the organization and really the impact that CCYP has had regionally on the Cape. So it really also kicked off our 10-year milestone celebration. So we are really proud and excited about now turning 10 and celebrating that for the next full year. So we have, we're just getting close to 1,000 active members, which is just mind-boggling because we have just connected to so many people, and people are continuing to reach out and join CCYP for support and just for those important connections, whether they're personal, professional, how can they help promote themselves. We have over 300 business sponsors. We have over 70 nonprofit partners. So the community really supports the work that we're doing and really sees the impact that the organization is having.
And what are some of the things that you combine with local businesses to attract and keep young people here on the Cape?
Well, we have a very active job board. Anyone who is a business supporter can post a job. They can we have 40 to 50 listings at any given time of decent, well-paying jobs for people. So that's one way. We want to connect the young professionals to these positions. We want to get the word out for the businesses. So we're really proud of our job board. We also list opportunities for board involvement and opportunities for young people to perhaps serve on a board or get involved civically that way and really get the voice of the younger demographic in a lot of the boardrooms. We hear from a lot of businesses that they come to us and say, how can we get your members on our committees, in our boardrooms? So that's one way that we're also connecting. We also offer to host, we have 3 to 4 monthly events. We have a coffee connect, a lunch connect, an after hours connect. We have our Mentor Mondays. So we have opportunities for businesses to sponsor these events or to host us at their place of business. So it's again an opportunity to get our members in their doors and also take advantage of some of that very valuable mentoring experience that you alluded to earlier. So let's move on to these Monday mentor programs. What exactly are those? So we're really excited about the Mentor Exchange, which is a program. We were lucky enough to receive $50,000 worth of grant money from the Mass Tech Collaborative, the Innovation Institute there through the state. And what it allowed us to do is to launch this pilot program called Mentor Exchange. And we really wanted to take the wealth of knowledge and experience that the Cape has in the experienced population, those that are working in businesses currently or have retired here and have the ability to give back and give time with these young professionals that are seeking some advice, seeking the guidance, seeking some of that mentoring support to ask those tough questions and to help them continue to make progress in their careers. So the Mentor Monday is a component of that. It's open to the public. It's various Mondays from now until May. We have different topics. They're all held at Alberto's, and the topics are really about career and enrichment, career advancement, how to get people thinking about some of those thoughtful questions around their career. And it's a really interesting, fun format. It's a speed mentoring format. So there's people eat dinner, there's a 15 to 20-minute presentation, and at each small round table, there is a table mentor who is facilitating a discussion. So you listen to the presentation, you have a small group discussion facilitated by a mentor, and then we ring the bell and you shift tables.
Okay.
So you have an opportunity to really have meaningful discussions with 3 different mentors. So we're calling it speed mentoring, and we have had a couple of them so far. The reviews are fantastic. We do surveys after each one, and we've gotten tremendous feedback.
And so let's say I'm a young practicing lawyer here on Cape Cod.
Yeah.
Can I come to you and say, hey, Ann, I'd really like to sit with a lawyer who can share his or her experiences with me? Or is it just kind of a catch as catch can and everybody shares their own experiences? Because obviously some things are universal. Some experiences are universal that, would help somebody in a younger set. How does that work?
Well, I would say, given your particular example, Rob, that I would recommend that young attorney sign up for the Mentor Exchange Program if they are seeking advice from an experienced senior level attorney and they want to have some very specific questions around that industry answered, then they can sign up for the program and do one-on-one. So when people signed up for the Mentor Exchange, they could request one-on-one training or one-on-one mentoring or small group mentoring, or they could forego either of those and do the Mentor Mondays. So in regard to the Mentor Mondays, they are very general, and it is going to be catch as catch can, but you're going to have the opportunity to sit with some of these very experienced senior level leaders and stakeholders in the community. So we have some topics like entrepreneur thinking, how to start and run a business or think like an owner. We want everyone should be going to work every day thinking like they are their own business, even if they're working for somebody.
Sure.
The brand of you, how to promote yourself effectively, topics like that, how to manage others and figure out what your leadership style is. So these are the kind of topics that we're talking about at these Mentor Mondays.
I'm Rob Woodard. You're listening to Sunday Journal. Today I'm joined by Ann Van Vleck. She is the executive director of CCYP. That's an organization working to find ways to alleviate challenges that are causing some of the Cape Cod's younger residents to leave the area. So now this sounds very attractive. If I'm a young person and I'm looking to kind of cement myself in the professional community here, this sounds like an organization with which I'd want to become associated. So how does one, I don't know, is it a membership thing, or can you just attend if and when you want?
Yep, it is a membership, we welcome members or non-members at anything, Rob. It's really, of course, our membership numbers are skyrocketing on their own. It's all about supporting young professionals and supporting people in the community and keeping those who are starting businesses top of mind and really how can we help each other all advance and provide that net of support for each other. So yes, if you're a young professional, absolutely get engaged in this group. If you are a more experienced professional and you understand and support the cause and the mission of the organization, please come to our events just to pat people on the back, offer your advice. And we absolutely are always looking for support for people to come out and say, yes, this organization matters, this organization is important and is making a difference on the Cape.
So as you say, if you're an older person with some experience, even if you're retired or whatever, you want to share your experiences, there's room for you as well as for the younger people who are maybe just starting out in a career or maybe mid-level and looking to branch out or advance or something like that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Is there a membership fee or?
So we have all sorts of levels. We have an individual membership is $50 for the year. It goes up through a business membership, business sole proprietor, and then we have partners and sponsor levels all the way up to a $10,000 mark. So there are many various ways to contribute to get involved, various benefits at the different levels. And we're excited as we launch into next year being our milestone year. We're definitely going to be looking for additional funding and donors. So anyone who wants to support the organization financially, of course, we would welcome that.
Sure. And one of the things, we only have a few minutes left, but
Okay.
One of the things you touched on earlier, I think, is a universal concern across all economic spectrums of the Cape, and that's affordable housing.
Yep.
So what specifically is CCYP doing to sort of try to figure that situation out?
So it is absolutely a very real issue, and it is being talked about across the Cape. I know at CCYP, I sit on the Cape Cod Chamber Board of Directors. I sit on the Smarter Cape Partners. And we are all talking about how we can address the issue of workforce housing. So the affordability, the availability, the accessibility. How can we creatively look at the situation and really quarterback some very real efforts? So we're trying to drive some dialogue with the key stakeholders CCYP is participating and offering the data that we received from Shape the Cape. So we're making headway and trying to shift it from conversation to action.
Right. A real team effort, it sounds like.
Absolutely. Collaborative across the community.
Terrific. Okay. Well, today I've been talking with Ann Van Vleck. Again, she is the executive director of CCYP, formerly the Cape Cod Young Professionals. They're working to find ways to keep young Cape Codders here in the area. I'm Rob Woodard. This is Sunday Journal.
This podcast is a presentation of Cape Cod Broadcasting, which is solely responsible for its content. Thank you for listening. For more information, please visit us at capecodbroadcasting.com.